Welcome to the comic panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Tilon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
So yeah, this is our the end.
Yes.
The end of our magic themed episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Our
roundup.
Yeah.
Review. Summary.
Yeah, I thought of a good word for it today and then I immediately forgot. So
basically we're going back through these last
recap. I like recap.
That's okay.
That's the one that I think I'm gonna stick with for now.
All right, fair enough.
Casual discussion.
Yeah.
Yes. Of all the books that we read for this theme.
Right. Yeah. So to get started, just what we covered. We read The Magic Order. We read Books of Magic. We did read, but unfortunately we're unable to release Doctor Strange. What was it?
Way of the Weird.
Way of the Weird, Volume 1. And then Constantine, or Hellblazer. Is it Hellblazer?
Yeah.
Constantine.
Hellblazer,
Yeah. Yeah, Hellblazer.
Issues 1 to 9.
Yeah, issues 1 to 9. The original series. So yeah. That is, so yeah, I think I wanted to kind of start out and first talk a little bit about just a recap of our Doctor Strange thoughts, because I was really upset that we lost that episode. The recording did not get saved properly, and it was not available. So yeah, you guys want to talk a little bit about what you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, we mostly kind of discussed how we were surprised that it was the setup for the bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get to the end of the issues and you're like, wait, you're going to solve the problem, right? It's like, no, the problem's gotten even bigger. It's going to overtake the world, as it usually does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one, was very much like an introductory arc to a bigger arc. Almost like I didn't say this when we first talked about it, but it kind of reminded me of when we read the Carnage one, and then it went into King in Black.
Oh, Maximum Carnage?
Yeah. Or it wasn't Maximum Carnage, I thought. Absolute Carnage. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
There's no easy
Never confuse those.
I just knew that the Maximum Carnage was the 90s event, so I was like, that can't be it.
I read both of them, so...
Yeah, but anyway...
Just put another word before Carnage.
Yes. But anyway, so yeah, we read Absolute Carnage, and it was like, this kind of seems like, it's just leading up to something. And then King in Black was like the real event, kind of. So yeah, I kind of felt like that a little bit.
I think it was you, maybe somebody else, who said that it kind of read like it was made for the trade.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The kind of standout comment that I made was like, there's something nostalgic about this comic that was like, this is like, feels like something I would have read in my childhood, kind of thing. That was like, it was like a nice callback.
Yeah, it was released in 2016.
You were a wee child then.
I was a wee lad.
Yeah, I was also going to say that this particular one, this story, it was written by Jason Aaron with art by Chris Bachalo. Chris Bachalo.
And I think I have this guy's name right. My first introduction to that guy, Chris Bachalo, was Scarlet Spider, right? I think it was 2012. Basically, after Spider Island, Kane, the clone of Peter Parker, goes off and becomes Spider-Man of Texas.
Spider-Man of Texas.
It's actually a pretty good series.
Yeah, it is good.
But I think that's Chris.
Yeah,
who was on that.
Yeah. So I'm unsure if it was or wasn't, but. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed the the book, you know, it was, yeah, there was like certain problems with it, but overall it was like, it was a really cool, like, new look at Doctor Strange, and like, especially the ways that, you know, magic like specifically takes a toll on his like body, and you know, the way that you know, magic is like its own ecosystem, you know, with viruses and magical bacteria and stuff like that.
Yeah. We were talking about how we actually liked the setup of the rules, but it came so much later in the issues. You know, the first few issues kind of rocky. You know, if we weren't having to read it for the show, I don't know if I would have continued. They're kind of weird in a not fun way.
Oh yeah, because the first one, it's he's doing like an exorcism on a little girl, and it's like on the astral realm, and for some reason, yeah, one of the monsters looks like a pretty woman, so of course
he's like, "Am I getting signs?"
Yeah. It's very the Iron Manification, Tony Starkification of Doctor Strange.
That's a good term.
I like that so much.
Which.
The magic, like everything, like all the other sorcerers are dying in other dimensions. Supreme sorcerers. It feels dire. It looks dire, and you know, he seems to be taking it pretty seriously. He doesn't have time to flirt with the librarian too much that wanders into his home.
And as he shouldn't. This is like your protege, well, ish.
I don't know about that.
Just wanders in. I don't even. We discussed this. We don't know why she stays around that much.
Yeah, it was like she was introduced. The next issue, she wasn't in it, and then you're like, oh, I guess she's just a one-off. But then she comes back later,
and then she just walks up to the house and comes in again, and we're like, okay. Point of view character.
It's audience insert so that they have an explanation to explain things that everybody else in the room should already know.
And
it wasn't bad, and the art was good, although they really like their splash pages. I remember that. And reading it on digital, it's like I gotta zoom in and pay extra attention, and it's like I understand physically very interesting, but like otherwise.
But when you're doing a splash page, you know, you really got to figure out where the next text you read is.
Yeah.
I felt that a lot with Constantine. There's so many text boxes.
Yeah, they did a lot of like that, like, we have to like really get in his head, and he's gonna like, you know, just talk so much about his internal, you know, how he's feeling and stuff.
At some point while reading it, I was like, actually, I'm not going to be graded if I don't read the latest little thing Constantine has to say about this room. I was like, the story would just keep going, right? Like a good story, you don't need to read. Well, actually, no. A good story should have necessary dialogue.
Yeah. That reminds me, I was just listening to the podcast Off Panel. It was an interview with Karen Gillan, and he was talking about how he, in his new book, he's going to do a lot less narrative captions, like internal dialogue captions. And he said that he used those like a lot in Die. Which we read for the show.
Yeah.
that doesn't stick out particularly to me, but
I don't remember there being a ton of internal in Die.
Yeah. That was the transport
D&D.
to a D&D world.
Yeah.
It was really
I
good.
don't really remember that. It was a while ago though, so maybe I've forgotten.
Yeah, I guess I kind of just took it on faith since he said that, but I don't actually remember that well either. Like, I do remember the book, I don't remember the captions that much.
I don't know, I have pretty strong opinions about, like, internal dialogue like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be super necessary most of the time.
Interesting.
I try to, like, never use it if I can.
Yeah, so you're saying the dialogue, like, external, like, characters talking should make up for that?
Wait, say that again.
Like, so instead of using internal dialogue boxes, like, it should be like external, like the idea of a character talking. Or am I misinterpreting what internal?
No.
So, I mean, I guess there's narration,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's internal dialogue, like little thought bubbles or something.
Oh,
I don't like much of either. Too
Mhm.
much.
Okay.
Yeah. And to be clear, I think that Constantine uses the narration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
The narration is like Constantine's thoughts.
Yeah.
So then, to better clarify my question, then, like, instead of having internal thought bubbles, it's more like that it should come through in the dialogue and action.
Yeah. I think it kind of, sometimes people use it too much and it just lacks subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
Like a character's going, I'm going to lie to them right now because I want to betray them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I just want to see that happen. I don't want you to, like, just tell me.
Okay.
There is some, not to be like contrary or anything, but like there is some points where like you do have to like
Yeah.
directly address your reader and be like, this
Yeah.
is what's happening, because otherwise you run the risk of like, man, why'd this only come up in the last issue? Why didn't they ever talk about this before?
Right.
And it's like, if you're paying attention, they do.
hinted to physically more, but I understand what you're saying. Like a lot of times, people don't want the subtlety because they're gonna miss it totally. And
Yeah.
maybe you shouldn't have to read it super closely to catch that. Oh, they were planning this all along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I land more on Jake's side, where it's like I'm not necessarily paying attention all that much to like the way that it's drawn, because I feel like that's how you'd be able to pick up on that.
Yeah.
I mean, hit it over the head with like visuals then. But do you have to like write it out?
Yeah. It's
That's the
definitely
thing.
it's just a different, ethos to like comic making, I feel like, because like, you look at the art of Constantine and it's like that artwork is really cool. I like it, but it doesn't really apply itself like with the panel layout and the way that it likes to, focus on characters versus like, doing more like wide shots and stuff like that. Like it doesn't lend itself to that kind of storytelling, I feel like, either.
Yeah, it's a little more stiff. It's definitely the old style. I
Yeah.
like it a lot, actually. I wasn't here for the Constantine episode, but I really do like the Constantine art, the coloring. I thought the stories were pretty interesting. They felt very classic. Is it the first Constantine for real?
Yeah, he first appeared in Swamp Thing as a side character, and that's his first solo series.
Okay. Huh, I expected more of an origin story.
Well, that's fair.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get that.
Yeah. I think even reading it, 1 through 9, it's kind of like I felt that there was previous Constantine stories, even though this was the first solo series. Like,
but is that just a sign of a good character?
I would say no.
Honestly, I'm thinking about it. I don't know anything about Constantine's origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I
He
know.
just kind of like shows up and does magic sometimes.
Yeah, I know kind of per the Sandman, it's kind of in his family. There was Joanna Constantine in the, I don't know, like I can't remember if it was the 1800s or something like that. So yeah, it's a magic runs in his family, I guess, is part of it. But there's got to be more than that,
Yeah. So I think we also said in Constantine, like, there's like stuff in his blood, literally.
Oh yeah.
Well, the magic in Constantine is very much like, if you have the conviction, it'll happen. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Very much so.
So in Magic Order, there was that woman in the Taxi. She's like, she just didn't have a will enough.
Yeah, you
really, just didn't want to not die enough.
Yeah.
Except it was a trick the whole time.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the magic in all these different books. I feel like Doctor Strange is the closest it gets for me, where I'm like, okay, there's like good, and then there's the consequences of doing it, versus most of the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a system with rules, and there's a reason it can't just solve every problem all the time.
Even if they don't entirely tell us the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does any of these books tell us the rules? Magic Order, no.
Books of Magic does a little more, because it is straight up like, you might be a powerful magician one day, here's what you have to know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird, vague rules, though. Like, if you're dealing with fairies, like, there's very concrete rules. Then everything else is kind of like,
Oh, man.
Don't go too far in the future.
Yeah.
I love that don't accept a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And then just how that plays out.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that could have happened to anybody.
It's such a fairy thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was like, that also could have easily happened with, the one that tries to make it look like they were stealing, It was like, put pockets them.
Oh, okay.
And like, it's like, if you didn't know, and didn't have, what's her name? Rose, Dr. Fate. Or was that that wasn't Dr. Fate.
Mr. E?
No, that's not Mr. E either.
Mr. E tries to kill.
Yeah, that's Phantom Stranger.
Yes.
Perhaps. One of the people who wears the
I'm going to say yes.
Because there's only like Constantine, Mr. E, Phantom Stranger, and Dr. Fate. It's like there's only 4 possibilities.
No,
right?
Dr. Fate is not part of that. There is a 4th person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right, Dr. Fate.
Yeah, he's the helmet guy.
Meet him. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't remember. Darn.
God. It's almost as if they have interchangeable names.
Yeah. It really is. Like, I would have, if I was writing that, I would have put Dr. Fate on the team, I feel like. I'm like, it makes more sense to me.
Dr. Occult. That's the other guy.
Dr. Occult.
I don't know if that was I don't think that was the person who became Rose. I think that was the Phantom Stranger.
I feel like that was Phantom Stranger.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. Anyway, though.
I guess it is looser. But it is looser with its magic rules, but it's not necessary for the story so much. Like, rules are introduced when we're going to see them broken, right? Or enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that story isn't so much about plot, I feel like. It's...
Yeah, it wasn't written as, like, plot. It was, like, DC went to, I forget the writer, and just said, like, hey, we would like you to, like, like, write a guide, essentially, on what magic is like in the DC universe.
Well, yeah, at first it was J.M. DeMatteis, I believe, and then, like, the artists kind of fell through, and so he was like, if they're out, then I'm out too, They're like, all right, we just got to start over then. And then went to Gaiman and the other artists that worked on it.
I keep wanting to call it a movie. I don't know how to describe it.
Books of Magic?
That's weird, because that's like the only thing it hasn't been. Is because been a comic, been novel, been other stuff, but never movie, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I can see what you mean, Shuinta. Like, at least to me, it looks very much like that.
It's not that. It's just the way the story is. Like you're saying, it's just kind of promo. We're just going to walk around, see some things.
Okay.
Are you, like, even talking about, like, the way that kind of modern superhero movies have become a little bit like sequel machines? Like...
I don't know if I'm being that smart.
Okay.
But it does feel like you're in like a amusement park where you're on rails and like
yes,
you know, you're being amused, but there's never any real stakes. I mean, we felt it though at the same time when, you know, they go to the end of time.
Yeah.
And his life is in danger. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to kill him, but still, it was pretty intense in a fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a question of like, you know, what's going to happen, you know, even if it's like he's not going to die. It's like, well.
Yeah, the end of time felt very dire kind of thing. And also, you know, I did get faked out for the most part when he was like, no, I don't want to be part of this magic world. And they're like, okay, we're just going to leave then.
Yeah. Yeah. What was, when we were talking about that, I didn't read this context at all, but you know, I think it was you who kind of pointed out like, the Phantom Stranger was like, yeah, you know, basically you lied to the boy. He's like,
yeah, you're talking about the scene that happens directly after when they just talk to each other, like, yeah, that was fake out.
Yeah.
We got him good.
As soon as he accepted the tour, he was like, he was signed up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I totally didn't get that.
You just like skip over that scene?
Oh no, I read it, but I guess I didn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, I guess the connections weren't made or something.
Yeah.
So then you were upset when he was able to make his yo-yo back into an owl.
I was upset because, you know, with my understanding, or lack thereof, it was like, oh, come on, that seems cheap.
Yeah.
He said no, and they're just going to accept it?
But saying, like, no, he was already going to have magic, it's like, oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. I guess it didn't feel like they were breaking their rules.
Yeah.
I think that's how to describe it.
They were just loopholing the rules. Yeah. All right. So yeah, which would you say each was your favorite of the books?
Magic Order by far.
I feel like you're gonna be in the minority on that.
Talon, I saw more issues of the Magic Order, and I went, I want to read them.
I
want to see where this train goes in the worst way.
Yeah, I do remember being surprised that there was more, because it did feel like that's where the story would end normally, at least from why am I blanking on the name? The writer that we keep coming back to and hate every time.
Mark
Millar.
Right.
Mark Millar. Like, that is a traditional Mark Millar ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's alive. It's fine.
Except for all the people who died.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They were bad people, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll rank mine in a moment, but yeah, the Magic Order, I was just thinking about the fact that the Magic Order really does feel like Mark Millar was like, I really want this to be the overarching arc that we're leading up to. But then the writer was like, no, I don't want to actually write all that in between. Let's get to the good part. Where the brother betrays the family. And we're like,
fair.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
Except for, wait, he is the writer, though.
I know.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't want to write all that stuff in between. And then he's like, I gotta write more, I guess.
I gotcha.
It really feels like something that you would lead up to over several issues and other stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing. Just kind of one and done.
Yeah, this is kind of a tangent, but it did remind me. I recently heard that initially, so we've read Invincible for the podcast, like, I don't know, 2 years ago?
Was it that long? Wow.
I think.
It was around when season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been about 2 years.
Yeah. Anyway, but we were all like, man, it takes a while in the comic to get to the big twist in it. And then I recently learned that what's his name?
Robert Kirkman?
Robert Kirkman, there we go. He wanted to do that twist in issue 25.
Whoa.
Compared to
issue
let
7.
it run for 2 years before we get to the twist?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he kept on like being like, you know, his editors and the people at Image were all like, you know, hey, you need to do that
Gotta do
soon.
this.
And you know, he kept on negotiating it down as like, how about like, you know, issue 15? No, sooner. Issue 10. No, if you want to do it right now, because you're gonna get canceled via sales. Like,
That's fair.
And then it was.
Now I'm thinking about other stories that do that, where they're like seem kind of normal and generic, and then the big twist happens in like episode 3, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard, because you always gotta tell people, yeah, it's really good. You just gotta get through those first few episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was one of the main Image guys was like, yeah, if you think this is gonna be good, just do it now, because like it's not good right now.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they did it in the first episode of the TV show.
Yeah.
But the Magic Order just, it's trying to do something newer, I think. It's not it's not built on like, you know, this is what typically the story unfolds as, and I'm subversing it. Magic Order is just like kind of a new setting, kind of a new cast. We don't typically see it like this. And then being like, but it was the person you least suspected. I was like, who is that guy?
All I know about this. Yeah, all we know about this guy is he has a bad dad and a dead daughter.
Yeah.
Real sad about it.
Wow, Jake. Wow. How heartless can you be?
That is all we know about that guy. What are you talking about?
Wait, there's a third...
You name one other character feature.
No,
his wife.
No, there's a third thing. There is a third thing. He is the best.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He's also the best.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the Magic Order was your favorite, Talon, what's your least favorite?
Least favorite would probably be
Constantine, Hellblazer.
Yes, Hellblazer. Yep.
Sorry, I knew it. I was like, you can't think of it, but I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not me agreeing with Talon, by the way. I just know what his opinion is.
If you watched our last episode, you would know.
Yeah.
Feelings.
I did not keep quiet about it.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
I think Hellblazer is probably my favorite, and then Magic Order the least, but I feel like Books of Magic is pretty close, just because, like, I had a hard time getting through that.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'd say similar for me. There's a part of me that almost says that I liked Doctor Strange, The Way of Weird, maybe a little bit more than Hellblazer in some ways, just because like Hellblazer was so dense. But I think it's two different reading moods, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's like they're kind of both there for me. And also I'm on the other hand, I'm a little more tempted to choose Hellblazer because we didn't get to release the Doctor Strange episode, so I'm almost like it's out of the running. But so yeah, that's kind of it though. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And yeah, Magic Order at the bottom.
Yeah, I feel like I'm probably pretty similar. Like, I wasn't there for the Constantine episode, but I read most of the issues, and then also accidentally read issues we were not supposed to read. And so I got to see like how bad Hellblazer issues can be, and then how good they can be. I got the real depth of the experience. I keep forgetting that we read Doctor Strange. Like, as we're doing this show, I keep forgetting it. I really liked the small details I can remember from it, but because it doesn't have like a full story, really, I'm not recalling it. It's not that memorable.
Yeah.
So is that worse to you than something you remember as being bad?
No. In this case, the good parts of it were good enough that, like, it's still better than the Magic Order.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Every time the Magic Order comes up, I could go on a rant. When I was writing our social media posts about the Magic Order, I started to argue with nobody again about the Magic Order. I caught myself the day after we read the Magic Order arguing with myself alone in the car. I was like, and here's another thing about it. I'm like, there's nobody here. I don't feel it as intensely as I did then. Because I'm kind of forgetting all the details.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's not memorable. Yeah, you know. I could see myself buying some of the early Hellblazer issues. Like, really cool, old-style coloring with, you know, interesting characters for the most part. You know, that first issue, sacrificing someone who he calls his friend, but he also seems to not like.
Gary Lester.
Complicated.
Yeah. Very complicated. And, like, seeing all of the ghosts that are, like, you know, following him from his past.
Well, the ghost comforting Gary at the end.
Yeah.
And just being like mean mugging at Constantine. I was like, yeah, he deserves that. And he feels bad because he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually good. Reminds me of something. I asked everybody on the show for Constantine, and so I'll ask you since you weren't there. Do you think the ghosts are real, or do you think they're just John's guilty conscience?
Okay. Having read later issues, I get the feeling that they're real. So I feel
interesting.
Because there's a lot of, like, I'm talking to nobody. This is Constantine's fault. If he didn't bring the magic world to me, I wouldn't be talking to nobody. So I kind of feel like they have to be real.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, even before, no, actually, I read that issue first. I can't not see it that way.
Yeah.
Everything's real. Nothing's fake.
I will say, like, you know, with all the stuff I didn't like about Constantine, I really did enjoy, like, the opening sequence with the guy, like, having an uncontrollable hunger that just, like, made him, like, a corpse. That was, like, creepy in just the right way.
Yeah.
Also, all the little moments in the city of people being, like, shoving their faces full of, like, jewels or something. It's, like, ridiculous. And can't help be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That'd be, I don't know, I feel like that would be some, like, cool things to, like, watch on screen, too. Like, in particular, probably animated more than live action.
Yeah.
To do the full 7 treatment.
Yeah. No. That part was gross in that movie.
For some of the issues I didn't really like, I think the Vietnam one, I didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Constantine's like, can't interfere. I'm like, well, why are we here then?
Right, yeah.
I have the feeling, because obviously I didn't finish all those issues. I get the feeling that's filler to show, like, you know, some of the trouble that they're causing.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got off of it. I actually didn't read all of the issues either, but going through it and, like, kind of skimming, it did seem like filler, where it was like, yeah, this is, like, something that's happening, but, like, there's a bigger story that it's going to get to, you know? This is just an in-between, a single issue story, and then we're going to go into an arc.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was an interesting short story on its own, but the inclusion of Constantine was not necessary, I guess.
Yeah. I just didn't like the way that it portrayed Constantine. Like, I guess it makes sense because he is kind of like more self-preservation, like
Yeah.
But like to me, I want to see more heroic qualities. And so,
yeah, he's a little coward in that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
That's probably why I didn't like that issue too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do something, man.
Yeah.
And then he does do something, but only after like a bunch of people are dead.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's kind of the infinite arc of Constantine, you know, in the way that the superhero comics kind of always are, where it's like he's always kind of, you know, self-preservation, doing whatever like has to be done in order to like, you know, protect the most people, even if it's not very pretty. But then like, you know, at the end of the day, he will self-sacrifice. He will, you know, do what needs to, like, not what needs to be done other than, you know, what's bad for him. But then, you know, of course, the cycle kind of starts over again.
You have to.
Yeah.
Or else we can't make more issues.
Exactly.
He's got to have issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of it. Like, you know, we read the beginning, and it's kind of more of a long-form thing where it's like, yeah, he's not great. He's not good. Not a good person. He wants to be perceived as a good person, but, you know, he does not flinch about sacrificing somebody that, like, you know, considers, like, him...
Who trusted him.
Yeah, trusted him, yeah, and is like a friend, you know? He's all like, yeah, you know, I'm having this really bad problem. I'm, you know, really strung out on drugs, too, but Constantine will help me. I know it, you know?
Yeah.
And then...
He travels across countries to see Constantine.
Yeah.
And Constantine is like, bait.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that simplifies it.
Right.
I enjoy the struggle Constantine seems to go through about it. And yeah, it is kind of upsetting to see him just follow through with it. You're like, oh, he's gonna save him in the end, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then he doesn't. You're like, ooh. And then he's gonna beat himself up over it, but still let it happen.
Yeah. In a way, in that way, you know, there is some similarity to like Doctor Strange. You know, Doctor Strange is like very much more of a, you know, kind of, I won't say kid friendly, but you know, like young person friendly, you know, version of that. But it's like he is, I mean, just in that he is taking on this like massive toll, you know, rather than, you know, doing like, I don't know.
Although, to be fair, like in Doctor Strange, we get that cutaway with Wong having raised like a not cult, I don't think.
Nah, it's a
it's a cult.
What's it called? The Helpers of Strange or something like that?
Yeah.
Like that.
And like they take part of the impact from the magic that Doctor Strange is doing.
They're human sacrifices.
Yeah. I'm just like, Wong, what the heck are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if that comes up again, which, I don't know, could be interesting, but...
Yeah.
So true. Yeah, good point about that. And also, on that point, too, I don't remember if I mentioned this when we talked about it, but, man, it seems like Doctor Strange has to be a little bit complicit in that. Like, I'm not saying that he knows, because he obviously doesn't. But, like, also, I'm like, you had to have realized when you were having a lot of bad effects, like what was happening, and then suddenly they weren't. Yeah, he just got stronger. That's right. He outgrew.
You think it's kind of like Wong mentions something and he's kind of like, okay, sounds good to me, like, doesn't question it kind of thing?
Yeah, at some point a question was not asked.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it does, considering how much he trusts Wong too, you know, it's not like this is what he's imagining could possibly be the case either.
Dang, I didn't even think about how much that trust will they write it in such a way that the discovery of that secret would break that trust?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be like,
that's a good setup.
Yeah.
But I could also see them pivoting and just being like, Okay, yeah, whatever. Wong did that fine.
No, that would be a horrible use of
No,
that.
I agree. But I could also see them doing that.
Why?
I do think that's probably why I kind of ranked Doctor Strange a little lower. Because I don't know if I have full confidence in them to, like, use these to the proper payoff.
Right.
I don't know. Like, do I want them to stop being friends?
Well, he has that librarian now.
You're right. All you need is a separate friend to
Wong, you
replace
can
the
never...
other friend.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Wong is, like, kind of his employee, too. So, like, just... You're like, yeah, go find somewhere else to live.
No, they're best friends. He has that little monologue about how he trusts no one more than him.
Yeah, it's true. And I also mentioned when we talked about it, there's a different story called Doctor Strange the Oath. And Doctor Strange, when he finds out that Wong has cancer, like, truly goes to, like, the ends of the earth to try to, like, basically magically cure him. Like... to great personal and potentially world sacrifice.
Wow. Was that before this or?
Before, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a newer story, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Oath was like 2005 or no 2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 10 years difference.
Oh. Because it came out 2017, not because 2006 10 years ago. Just clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did we get everybody's? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. All right.
Because we kind of had the same opinions.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, I mean, I'm lone one out here.
Okay. Very special guest.
Typical.
Off the record, on the record. Is Magic Order really your favorite?
Yes.
You don't have to say which one is.
Yes. Magic Order is really my favorite.
Would you own the book for it?
Would I buy the book?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having it, yeah.
Would you buy the book for any of these other ones?
Doctor Strange, potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, it's Magic Order and then Doctor Strange, top two.
What do you like about the Magic Order more than Books of Magic and Doctor Strange?
Well, so, like, Books of Magic, I really didn't like the whole philosophical conversation that they had, particularly in the beginning, of just like, here's magic, and we're just gonna talk about it. I was like, I'm not. No, I'm not down for that.
You need some more action.
Yeah, but then the Magic Order was just like, I just liked how the whole magic situation was and the individual characters. I thought it was interesting.
It's like the Fast and the Furious, but if it was about magic.
I could see that. Yeah.
It's literally like
the family.
It's perfect for the general public.
Yeah. I don't need Dark Atlantean magic. Yeah. All I need is family.
Oh man, let's not go without saying again. The first three books that we read all brought up Atlantean magic.
Yeah, that was weird. And I talked to somebody outside the show, obviously. I asked somebody who I felt like would know, and they were like, yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that, like basically the reason Atlantis sunk was because they were like, against the gods, basically, like trying to use like science and maybe a little bit of magic to like, basically like circumvent them. And that was kind of supposed to be the point of like the parable of Atlantis, but it wasn't really about the magic. So I'm like, I don't know. I also did a little bit more Wikipedia research, and I was like, there's definitely like, so when Atlantis stories started getting popular, it was basically like there was fantasy Atlantis stories and sci-fi stories, Atlantis stories. Like either they were very magical or they were very technologically advanced and not really in between. But yeah, not necessarily a lot of like dark magic. There was like one not very well known short story from H.P. Lovecraft. And yeah, a couple of other stories that I noted that was like kind of had like dark magic implications. But I was like, man, I don't know it feels like there should be a major influence that all of these are drawing upon.
The deal with Atlantis.
Atlantis is, I think I said some version of this in like our first episode, like Atlantis is the most magical thing that somebody who knows nothing about magic will know.
It's an easy, I was literally just thinking again, it's an easy phrase. You go, it's from Atlantis. And everybody kind of knows what that means, but they don't know like any details.
That's fair.
They're like, oh, the lost city, water? Something? You're like, yeah. You know the real truth about it? And they go, no, I know nothing about Atlantis.
All right, let me tell you.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, you know, there's no people of the Bermuda Triangle. Right.
Well, because they sunk.
No.
That we know of.
They're lost somewhere.
That was a joke.
For the magic theme, I was thinking of that book we read, or it wasn't a book, it was like only a few issues of that space one, Math Equals Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Outer Darkness?
I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Southern Cross?
No, it was Outer Darkness.
No. Outer Darkness?
Was it?
Outer Darkness.
Yeah. Oh.
I was Outer Darkness,
Yes.
Yeah. That one was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was, That is,
I like that depiction of magic. I don't think we've seen as interesting of a depiction in any of these books. Most of these books are like, it's magic.
You know what it is.
Correct. Yeah. That was a good book. I'd like to go look at it again. And I remember there was a different series that either the writer or the artist worked on. And I was like, oh, I want to check that out too. And I haven't yet. And I'm like, now I have to remember what it was.
The artist is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh. Huh. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that the series did get canceled, but they did have a crossover with the comic Chew. Are you guys familiar with Chew?
No.
I've heard of, I think it's on one list of stuff I will get to eventually, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's about a detective that like he can take bites of things and like know information about it. I think.
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, let me look it up for a better description.
What a premise.
Yeah.
This crossed with like
it's like iZombie.
An alien style story.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Talon?
So it's like iZombie.
Oh yeah. Okay, so he's actually an FDA agent. And his name is also Tony Chu, but spelled
yes, of course
C-H-U.
it is. I assume that.
Yeah. And he solves crimes by receiving psychic impressions from food, including people.
I feel like you've brought this up before.
Is that the FDA's job to solve crimes?
No, it is not their job, as far as I'm aware, anyway.
Well, that's why they outsourced it.
Yeah.
There is FDA agents.
Yeah.
But, they're mostly investigating, right?
Yeah, yes. They don't...
Yeah, like...
They're not detectives. They are... They
like inspect farms and stuff, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that they're not like committing mass animal cruelty.
Crimes.
Yeah.
Man.
I guess in some...
It's technically crimes, but like I don't think the comic is about, oh, this doesn't meet the requirements for a free-range chicken. We're going to shut you down.
Yeah. And I knew that because I tasted the chicken that you butchered.
I've been eating these chicken nuggets, and I have some words with you.
Yeah. Anyway,
that sounds like another magic that we're not going to fully explain because we want it to do whatever.
Yeah. But
as far as magic systems, I don't know, not to bring up Dungeon Meshi constantly.
But go ahead.
But, I mean, I actually enjoy their magic systems. I like magic systems. None of these books really felt, like, interested in that as much. Maybe it's a lack of world building?
That would make sense.
I mean, how far in Dungeon Meshi do you think it was before they actually, like, got into, like, the nitty-gritty of the systems? Like, because the one that sticks out the most to me is, like, about the forbidden magic, and they don't get into that for a long time.
4th volume is when they really get into that. I feel like they probably mention it a little bit in 3rd, but yeah, you're right. Like, they kind of don't show any of it. But it's all, you can kind of tell the influences are there. Like, it's built on a foundation, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, part of it is too that it takes advantage of a lot of assumptions about like just general, like, you know, Tolkien-ish high fantasy.
D&D.
Yeah.
You talking about Dungeon Meshi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is another one of those things where you're like, oh, I know what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of turns it on its head.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, one thing I wasn't even after, like, I mean, yeah, the Magic Order was your pick, Shuenta, and so, like, I technically had the option to choose it if I wanted to, but I knew I wasn't going to. But one thing that I kind of wanted to read for this theme was, like, a magical girl thing, you know, like a Sailor Moon or other type of that.
We should have all just watched Madoka Magica.
Yeah.
If there's a manga for it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was just like, you know, because I mean, that is like, you know, it's a popular manga genre, so it's like, I want to, you know, look into that and see its differences.
I read a lot of magical girl stuff, but I always read the ones where they're like, we're turning it on its head. It's nitty gritty now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Is that like the manga version of Evil Superman? Where everything is...
Yeah.
That's just... sounds like, at that point, it's just a new genre now.
Nah.
You're not turning it on its head.
It's a subgenre.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of there's a main one that's like by the creator of Sailor Moon, right? I'm trying to think of what that's called.
I don't know enough about Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'll look it up.
Sailor Moon?
But no, most of the magical girl ones, they always end up being like, you get magic, but you have to give up a little bit of your life. Kind of like Contract with the Devil style.
I mean, that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I appreciate. Like, you know, there's clearly sacrifice for the good that you get, you know, a give and take. Yeah. Which... it's just what I want with magic, I guess. Like, tell me that you're giving up something to get this, like, awesome power.
Yeah,
otherwise, it's limitless.
Yeah, there has to be some reason why it can't solve all the problems in the world.
Yeah.
Why isn't Doctor Strange making world peace?
I will say, like, out of the magic systems... like, Doctor Strange is probably my favorite. Just, like, how they portray him being like, yeah, for each good thing that you do, for each punch you take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then with them showing it very physically, where he's like, his master's like, punch me. He's like, I don't want to punch an old man. And then he does it, and he's like, and then I hurt for 3 days afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing too, where it's all like, it's not even just a 1-for-1. Sometimes it is, the toll is much, much worse than, you know, the action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magic food poisoning.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And just the fact that he's used magic so much that normal food is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Like now he has to eat magical food.
The little details like that make it really fun. You're reminding me of the stuff I like about that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so sad he can't eat pizza.
I liked... Oh, he can't eat pizza?
Yeah.
It tastes like ash, he said.
I liked most of the books we read, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
None of them were like crazy, amazing, put it on my bookshelf now. I think the Magic Order, I mean, we've discussed at length why it fell flat for me and others, perhaps. But I was promised a Magic Mafia, and it was not delivered.
That's fair.
So
yeah, there's not even other magical crimes other than murder, which is like the least interesting part of the mob.
They're literally like, we're protecting the world, and I'm like,
Right.
do something else with your magic.
Yeah.
Be interesting for 5 seconds.
Yeah, man. Yeah, actually, really, that almost makes me want to follow. Like, I mean, okay, so the villain of that story, not the one from the family. Well, I guess they're both from the family. The lady, the evil lady.
Well, yeah, well, she's not part of the family.
She isn't?
No.
I thought she was.
She's part of another
She's part of a
family.
different family.
But she wasn't allowed to be the leader, I thought. I thought they kicked her out because...
Well, her dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they kicked her out of whatever, like, the Brotherhood of Magicians was.
Yeah, and
But didn't kick her out of the family, though. Because she wasn't part of the family.
Just the main family.
I thought she was a part of the main family. Yeah, because I thought her dad was the one that had the book. He was the leader. And then, like, basically I thought that she was the aunt to the lady that...
She might have been.
No.
Was the guy
I think
she
there were two
killed her
families.
brother?
There were two families?
Yeah.
Really?
So, like, her dad, I think, had the book, but gave it to someone within the family. I don't remember if it was the dad. I think it was...
Gave it to the scumbag.
Yeah. The bad dad. So her
losing my mind.
So her father gave the book to the bad dad.
Yeah, and I guess I thought they were related, though.
No.
Who was he then? How did...
I thought that the dad of villainous lady was like, the order will protect the book. And because my daughter's not going to become the head of it, I guess the eldest dude from this family will become the head.
Huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they were actually related, but I understand what you mean. Because she constantly refers to her father. It's like, well, he's not my dad. Is what I think every other character was like.
Okay.
It's not essential to the plot.
Listen,
anyway.
this was like 6 weeks ago. We were in this book?
Yeah.
And most of us didn't like it.
Fair enough.
Hey, so then therefore you should trust the one who did like it.
Name your favorite character, Talon.
Name my favorite character. Actually, the daughter. The one who brings everyone back.
His name was...
Name her.
Corinne. I'm kidding. That's not her name.
See, but none of us remember. So
I don't know. I was like, you could have chosen a more like I know that her name was like a normal name. I was like, that's not her name. You could have said like
Claire
Abigail or Claire. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably true. you went with something out of left field, so it's like, no, you're wrong.
We sure love magic.
boy, what a series we've had on magic.
I will say this. I don't know if I verbally expressed this, but when Shawinta chose the Magic Order and I liked it so much, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to top that. I don't know how anyone's going to top that.
Elon was like, finally, Shawinta has good taste.
Hey, Lauren, do you think that's your favorite Mark Millar book?
Yeah. Oh, by far. Yeah.
Not a hard competition.
Have you read Civil War?
Yeah.
And that's included?
I'd have to think about it more. That would definitely be a contender.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think my favorite is still Old Man Logan, even though that has gone back since I realized how much of that idea he's used other places, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it would probably be like 3 options for favorite Mark Millar book: Magic Order, Ultimates, and Civil War.
Well, at least Wanted isn't on that list. I think we have to end the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you asked my favorite Mark Millar book,
I would say Prodigy.
The first thing I thought of was Wanted's pretty great.
I still haven't read it. I'm like, no, I won't.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, your life will be longer.
Yeah. I will say...
Was he the one who wrote Prodigy?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's batting 100.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is.
Which, actually, our next theme.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up, actually. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Books that we've heard are really bad, but must see for ourselves.
Yep.
Also known as morbid curiosity.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good phrase.
Yes.
I have 100 books I want to read.
Just do Morbid Curiosity 2 when it comes up next.
Morbid Curiosity 2.
Yeah. I have already read the one that Shawenta picked.
Nice.
And
I have not started.
Me neither.
Been procrastinating.
Wait, so you read it before, or you just read it?
I just read it.
As of my instructions. Okay, to be fair, I chose a book that I don't know if it's necessarily bad. I just heard that it's controversial slightly.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think I would say that for what it's trying to achieve, I think that it is successful. I won't go too into it because obviously we're going to cover it on the episode. But
tune in next time, folks.
Yeah. But that's my little sneak preview for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to choose the one that Jake is gonna choose, the Batman comic, and there was also a worse Batman comic I almost chose.
What's? Oh, is that the Oh, Cody.
Is it
Silent J and
Kevin Smith? Yep.
The other guy.
I knew it.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
There's a bad Kevin Smith comic. That's not the one I'm choosing.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Odyssey.
Odyssey?
Batman Odyssey.
Oh, Batman Odyssey. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I had to think about it, but okay. That would have been still not what I'm choosing, but that's a good one.
Yeah, that's not so I almost chose the one that you were choosing. And then I was like, oh man, Jake's gonna choose it. I don't want to take it. There's so many good comics out there. I need to have my voice heard. Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Interesting. I've never heard of Batman Odyssey. I
just thought of my book. All right, let's go. That was awesome. Thank you, guys.
I think this is the first time at the beginning of a series we all have our choices locked in.
Yeah.
You're just so energized.
Yeah.
We love comics.
Yeah. I'm a little bit afraid for mine because I know mine is like considered one of the worst comics ever put out by Marvel.
Oh no, it might be the same. Mine was also a Marvel comic.
I said mine are on the Discord.
Then
so.
probably not then.
Okay, there's a difference between bad comic and comic that is unpleasant to read.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair.
What?
So I'm trying to not choose a comic that is super unpleasant to read, that is confusing and makes no sense, and you're just like, why am I here on this earth? Sometimes you get a really good mix of the two, though, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might need to read, like, issue 1 and decide if I'm still going to choose what I'm going to choose. Because, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it will be unpleasant to read and just not make sense, you know?
That's fair. I can see your point now, Shwinta.
I have recommendations, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
Okay. Yeah. All right, though. I think that should be all for our episode. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Be sure to check out our other episodes on the podcast feed. You can find us on X, also known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter. I
think someday they'll go back.
Still have the URL.
Yeah, they still have the URL, exactly.
Yeah.
But until then, this has been the Comic Panel. I'm Cody.
I'm Taylon.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Shawenta.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.